So about half a month ago, it was Valentine's Day. And unlike most of my friends, I somehow wound up single and alone again. But don't worry, I wasn't completely alone. I was watching my glorious LeGoat King James put in an absolute masterclass with his signature step back fuck you 3. So on March 2nd, something amazing happened. And I ain't talking about Derek White finally shaving that monstrosity of a hairline he has going on. I was referring to Taco Tuesday's 40,000 point achievement that he set, beating Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's almost untouchable scoring record of 38,387 points by a considerable margin. To put this into perspective, the most points I've scored in a basketball game was 5, and this was against tiny garden gnomes in middle school. Granted though, I am comparing myself to the almighty, glorious... Wait, what did he call himself? The L Train? The Akron Hammer? Sheesh, okay, pause. But now the question everyone asks me is LeBron better than Jordan? Is Jordan Poole now the GOAT? Okay, no one actually says that last one since bro switched to Washington. But I already know that this question will be loaded. Actually, this entire video is about to trigger a whole avalanche between old heads and LeGoat glazers. But wait, I am but a humble spectator watching in the distance and narrating. Which is about the same thing that Kyle Kuzma is doing right now in the Wizards. With that out of the way, let's begin. Now, I'm no super hardcore basketball fan, but anyone can compare baseline statistics between players. And this usually brings us a handful of some of the greatest players of all time. I'm talking Bird, Magic, Kobe, Kareem, Bill Russell, and Shaq. These guys are just some of the greatest players you'll ever witness in the history of basketball. And standing head and shoulders above the rest lies LeBron and Jordan. And in the red corner, we have Taco Tuesday. Born December 30th, 1984 in Akron, Ohio, LeBron Raymond James Sr., what kind of name is that, was a prodigy at basketball since a young age. At a towering 6'9", LeBron dominated high school basketball, leading the charge for St. Vincent St. Mary to 3 Ohio State championships in just 4 years on the team. Like, bro is basically Dumbledore graduating straight out of Hogwarts. He was a national sensation in the media, appearing on the cover of Sports Illustrated and nicknamed the Chosen One before Potter even stepped in. And LeBron was selected as the first overall pick to the one and only Shanghai Sharks, baby! Nah, I'm playing. He was drafted to the Cavs. So coming into the NBA, LeBron was hyped up to be the next. Well, no one actually. Current players are literally compared to LeBron right now, so there is nobody to compare him to back then. Still, the amount of glazing that the media gave him could have easily sustained Krispy Kreme for well over a decade. The question was he really as good as they said he was? The answer was yes. My glorious king was phenomenal. He won Rookie of the Year in 03 and 04 season and led the Cavs in scoring and steals. Not to mention, LeBron had a 44-inch vertical, so he could literally touch Victor Wembanyama's standing reach. But seriously, with his unmatched size and athleticism, nobody could stop him on all 3 levels of scoring. Now, he has so many achievements that it'd be stupid to list them all in chronological order from when he actually earned them. But according to ESPN of 2024, in total, Taco played 21 seasons with 1477 games played on an average of 38 minutes a game, on a very solid 50.5 field goal percentage, 34.7 3-point percentage, and 73.5 free throw percentage. Across his career, he averaged 27.1 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 7.4 assists, 0.7 blocks, and 1.5 steals a game. And apart from this, bro was a 4 times NBA champion, 4 times FMVP, 4 times regular MVP, 20 times NBA All-Star, 19 times All-NBA selection, and 6-time NBA All-Defensive selection, not to mention NBA Rookie of the Year. And due to the amount of time he has played, he has all these other achievements that I'm literally not going to read because that's too long. However, his most crowning achievement would probably be breaking the 40,000 point barrier, which was thought to be impossible. He was the youngest player to break 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and now the nearly impossible 40,000 mark. You have to consider the longevity of his statistics, which is one of the strongest arguments for his GOAT status. Alright, now I realize I'm glazing him a little bit too hard. So, in the blue corner, we have Michael, I can't play baseball, Jordan. Born February 17th, 1963, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan grew up in the quiet city of Wilmington, North Carolina. Jordan surprisingly had a really slow start to his career. He was actually cut from his high school varsity basketball team during his sophomore year. Wait a second, I was also cut from my team. Does that mean I'm MJ? Sheesh. However, this actually spurred him on to work even harder, and he entered the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill in 1981. Jordan was named College Player of the Year in both his sophomore and junior years, and just 3 years later led the US men's basketball team to an Olympic gold medal. In the same year, Jordan was drafted 3rd overall by the struggling Chicago Bulls, which had not made the playoffs in 4 consecutive years. In just his first season alone, he led the entire league in scoring, and he averaged an astonishing 33 points per game in the next 7 consecutive seasons, following a missed second season due to a broken foot injury. But here's when he really started cooking. He led the struggling Bulls to a complete dynasty, winning a three-peat or 3 consecutive championships from 91 to 93, one of the most impressive feats in NBA history. Then bro went on to become an absolute MLB legend with the likes of Babe Ruth and Ken Griffey Jr. But bro was so humbled that he returned to basketball as to not scare the competition away. And then bro went on an absolute rampage, winning another 3 championships in a row from 96 to 98, averaging an astonishing 33.4 points per game in his playoff career. Bro went perfect 6 for 6 in the finals, and in classic MJ fashion, he never needed to reach a game 7 in any of them. To follow up with this insane achievement, Mike averaged in the regular season 30.1 points per game, 6.2 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 2.3 steals, and 0.8 blocks per game on 49.7% shooting, 32.7% from beyond the arc, and 83.5% at the line. What's even crazier is that Jordan had achievements that even surpassed LeBron, including a 6-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, 6 times final MVP, 10 times scoring leader, and he won NBA Defensive Player of the Year. He was the NBA Rookie of the Year and was a 14-time NBA All-Star, 3-time NBA All-Star game. Nobody cares about it. He was a 2-time NBA Slam Dunk. Nobody cares about that. 3 times steals leader, 2 times minutes leader. Okay, wait, what? 11 times all NBA selection, and 9 times all defensive selection. And this video would be way too long if I were to list out his total accomplishments. So this is just one of many pages writing down his notable accolades. So after briefly comparing the 2 careers, what can we actually take away from this? This one quote simply summarizes perfectly. A flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. And you can kind of apply this to the Jordan versus Lataco scenario. Raw statistics aren't everything, and they sure as hell can't paint an entire picture, but they are a good baseline indicator for how good a player is. Like, if it's based on number of championships, Bill Russell would be the GOAT, but these 2 are simply dominant at every metric. However, there is one last metric that we haven't talked about yet. Whoa there, cowboy, let me slow you down. That's a big word. Intrinsicality refers to the essential nature or constitution of something. Or to put it simply, does bro have that dog in him? Now, one thing we haven't talked about is competition. This is another point of contention between the 2, as it's like comparing apples to oranges. Jordan has played against the so-called tougher competition, while LeBron has been quoted to be playing against the softer era. Now, this is mainly due to the shift in NBA rules and regulations that is supposedly favoring the current NBA players. Now, once again, I'm not an expert at basketball, but if I quote my boy Jimmy High Roller, the talent in today's game has never been higher. It's simply a shift in culture, like shooting beyond the arc locks in more points than shooting in the paint. It just makes sense. The league adapted, favoring big men not like the dominant and powerful Shaquille O'Neal, but rather more versatile and flexible big men, who could shoot and move like a guard and have the same grace at the end of it. Just look at Victor Wembanyama having the size and athleticism to keep up with smaller guards and still be offensively incredible and defensively dominant. Now, this is not to say that Jordan's competition was bad either. Far from it, actually. He actually played against the likes of Bird, Magic, Ewing, Barkley, and Shaq, some of the greatest players in history. And I don't doubt that Shaq would be the most dominant player today, but undermining the hundreds of other talents today would just be shameful. A further point to make here is that NBA players actually fear Jordan, and a consensus was shown that 58.3% of NBA players think Jordan is the GOAT. And this statistic should be relevant as NBA players are the ones lacing up against them. No matter the statistics, the numbers, the values, Jordan brought an aura with him unlike anyone that's ever played basketball. Players simply feared him stepping on the court, and the greatest player of all time should have this intrinsic factor about them. Coming back to that candle analogy, everyone has their own right to judge whether a bright flame, i.e. Jordan, or a longer flame, LeBron, would be considered better. But at the end of the day, everybody's wrong. The GOAT is still Alex Caruso, baby! Everything litty, I love when it's hot. Turn to the city, I broke out that